Mortal Kombat 1 died, Legacy Collection failed, Mortal Kombat 2 movie delayed until next year, and Netflix has bought Warner Brothers, meaning they own Mortal Kombat now. Yeah, when I tell you this was the worst year for Mortal Kombat, I really mean it. There's no hyperbole in that statement, because nothing went right this year. The newest game by NetherRealm got zero support, and Ed Boon has gone radio silent, which means support for this game is most likely over. The Legacy Collection was meant to save us like an angel from heaven, but it smashed onto its face during impact. So many bugs and glitches that I made 5 separate videos on it so far. Yeah, there could always be more. But what about the Mortal Kombat 2 movie? That released in October, right? Wrong! It got delayed until summer of next year for no reason. Yeah, that's right, no reason. Anybody telling you it's to fix the movie is lying or delusional. Warner Brothers just wants to inflate their earnings for next year because nothing else is getting made that year. 2026 is gonna be mostly dead. Then we have the Netflix buyout. That's right, the company known for ruining beloved series now owns Mortal Kombat. Sometimes they make bangers, and I won't deny that, but typically it goes like this. By the Elder Gods, look what they did to The Witcher. You think Mortal Kombat is safe? Yeah, 2026 is gonna be rough, because 2025 was the worst year for Mortal Kombat ever. In today's video, we'll explain why, but if you want Mortal Kombat to survive, leave a like down below. Show your support for this series. It can endure, but we've got to do our part. For anyone new to my channel, let's try and reach 500,000 subscribers before 2026. All right, everyone, without any further ado, let's discuss the worst year in Mortal Kombat history. Real quick everyone, I've got a new shirt and it's selling surprisingly well. I only made one video and yet it's selling pretty well, so here's the second video. Before Netflix changes these iconic characters forever, snag yourself this shirt to remember mortal characters as they used to be, colorful ninjas with iconic attacks. Click my link down below in the pinned comment to get yourself an amazing underdog shirt today. But alright, the worst year for Mortal Kombat ever. Let's go chronologically, which means we gotta begin with the game itself, Mortal Kombat 1. Literally nothing new happened for this game in 2025 unless you count the tiny balance patch in July, which normally I would, except they added nothing new. There were some health value changes, some attacks did more damage, but nothing new, right? Not even the cameos got new attacks, which usually NetherRealm does at least that, but this time nothing. No new moves, no new modes, just some numbers moved around in the code, and that's it. So unless you get off on gameplay data, right, numbers going up or down, then this update was underwhelming for you, which is very disappointing because Ed Boon made it seem like more updates were coming. In fact, many more. He sounded very excited for new updates coming in the future, and yet we got one this year and then nothing else. So when you take that information and combine it with the fact that Ed Boon himself is being pretty much silent on Twitter lately, yeah, I think Mortal Kombat 1 is cooked. Normally Ed Boon at least replies to stuff, but he's not even doing that anymore. Just retweets, and that's pretty much it. Which is why Mortal Kombat 1 is most likely done for now. I made a tier list video celebrating the event, right? The death of Mortal Kombat 1, if you want to check it out. But then we have the Legacy Collection, which I still can't play yet because I ordered the physical copy, which won't be here for a few more days. Crazy to think about. If you ordered digital, you got it right away, but I had to wait. And I'm not gonna buy it twice. I refuse to buy the same game twice, alright? It's just a personal rule of mine. In fact, I normally don't pay for games in general. It comes with the YouTube gig. But you all watching made me buy the biggest collection version of Mortal Kombat Legacy, so now I'm stuck waiting for it. And listen, okay, listen, come close. If the game launched in a complete state, I would never complain about it. The issue was all the bugs. The online did not function, like whatsoever. For almost half a month, the online was terrible. Then fast forward to present day, right? As you're watching this video, there's still input delay and tons of bugs in the game. The Mortal Kombat Legacy Collection is still not complete over a month later. That's pretty bad. Now with that said, I love the idea of the Legacy Collection. Combining all the classic games together in one disc is really cool. And the idea of playing those games online with people would be amazing, yet there's still no lobbies as of right now, and there's also no crossplay, right? No basic stuff like that every other fighting game has included on release for the past like 5 years or so. So yeah, I was roasting the Legacy Collection pretty hard. There was so much stuff to cover and I made like 5 or 6 videos by now, and I might make more if new stuff comes up. However, with that all being said, if the game redeems itself and becomes perfect or at least fun to play, right, without too many bugs and glitches, I will cover that. I will sing the game's praises. I totally will, I promise. But as it stands right now, the Mortal Kombat Legacy Collection is one massive failure. It tripped at the starting starting line and fell on its face. Out of the gate, it was not performing right. So hopefully that gets fixed in the future, but as of right now, it's baby steps. Wait a minute, the Mortal Kombat 2 movie, that should have been spoken about before, since that happened in October and was meant to release alongside the Legacy Collection. That's right, their release dates were within like a week of each other, and that was on purpose. Yet, the film got delayed for almost 8 months, right? And finally, someone in the comments explained why to me, and it actually made sense. Because there's tons of theories flying around about why the film got delayed, including the game being fixed or changed, but no, the producers themselves said nothing's being changed about the film, it's done. I don't know why they admitted that, don't ask me, because that would be my biggest secret. If I delayed a film for 8 months, the last thing I would say is, by the way, it's done, we just don't want to show it to you yet. I would never admit that. I don't know why they came clean about that fact, that's ridiculous. Now, could they be lying and actually fixing stuff about the film without telling anybody? Maybe so, but I seriously doubt it. Instead, the most likely reason why the Mortal Kombat 2 movie got delayed is to make 2026 earnings look better. That's right, for anyone watching not aware, WB owns Mortal Kombat, and to make their shareholders feel better, they want to inflate the numbers of 2026. They want to increase the earnings that year. And what's the best way to do that? Move their most anticipated film to the next year, that way it makes money. For this year, 2025, they already had the Minecraft movie, which pulled in tons of money, right? A major success. So with that in mind, they pushed Mortal Kombat 2 to next year. In fact, the summer of next year, because that's the best time to get money for ticket sales. All that said, I think it was a terrible decision, and this film is going to make less money overall than it would have in October, because a lot of the hype's gonna die down. Then on top of that, WB's gotta make new trailers and commercials to hype this movie up all over again. So yeah, money down the drain, just straight down the drain. I will not be shocked if Mortal Kombat 2 loses tons of money, but it will be in 2026, which still makes WB's earnings look better for that quarter. Alright, but real quick, there's one thing I want to cover that's so funny. I thought about this last night while reading books next to my girlfriend in bed, and I thought, oh my god, this is so funny, I gotta talk about this. So alright, here we go. Netflix does not like movie theaters. If they could, they would shut all movie theaters down, because that way you'd be forced to watch movies on streaming services. Which, to be fair, that is convenient sometimes, I'm not gonna lie. Every now and then, I do want to watch a movie on my couch without anyone else talking. But also, I think theater watching is amazing, so Netflix has a compromise. With their movies in particular, right, films they produce and fund, the movies will be in theaters for 2 months, and then streaming services will have that same movie. Keep that in mind, because don't forget, Mortal Kombat 2 is releasing next summer, and by that time, Netflix is going to fully own and absorb WB, which means we might get Mortal Kombat 2 streamed in just 2 weeks. Yeah, or in other words, that box office is gonna tank. Netflix won't care, because they'll make their money from stream signups, right? People will pay money that month on Netflix to watch Mortal Kombat from their couch, which means Netflix makes more money, but Mortal Kombat 2, the movie, will suffer and have way less ticket sales. So if that happens, I'm a prophet. I said moving this movie to next year would be a death sentence, and I might be proven right more so than I thought. Oh man, it hurts to be right. It really does. I'm tired of being correct about this stuff. I want the film to do well, but you delayed it for half a year. There was gonna be consequences. Alright, to end today's video, we have Netflix buying Warner Brothers, and it seems today it's more official, because Netflix has been emailing everybody, myself included. Let me know in the comments if this happened to you before, because for me personally, I can't recall the last time a big company emailed me to brag about $1 billion purchase. I can't recall that ever happening before. Netflix just bragged to me in an email, which means this buyout is most likely official, right? I don't think WB's gonna back out now. I also don't think Paramount's hostile takeover is gonna work, which is a whole separate thing to talk about. So Paramount wanted WB really badly, and feels like WB did this bidding war on purpose to have Netflix buy them instead of Paramount. So it was kind of rigged against them, in other words. That's what Paramount is trying to argue, and as a result, they're trying to do a kind of hostile takeover and buy WB anyway by appealing to the shareholders, because they're the ones who actually own Warner Brothers at the end of the day, meaning that if enough shareholders were on board with WB getting bought by Paramount instead of Netflix, then that's what would happen. However, at present day, I don't think that's gonna work. Netflix sent out that big email to everybody. They're feeling pretty confident about this purchase finalizing and going through. Man, I'm out of breath right now. Yeah, so Mortal Kombat being owned by Netflix is pretty official at this point. I made a full video right here covering all the details if you want to check that out. But for today's video, here's the spark notes. If Netflix owns Mortal Kombat, that likely means way more shows and movies getting made, because let's be real, that's Netflix's bread and butter. However, also they have creative team members that might be inserted into NetherRealm Studios also. Or in other words, Netflix might get even more woke, which is why I think WB wanted to get bought by Netflix in the first place. I think their ideals politically line up, meaning they're both woke. I don't think all of WB is woke, but Netflix absolutely is. I don't think anybody watching would argue that. Netflix is where woke stuff goes to flourish, and sadly, it's also why many of their shows and movies tank, right? They start off good, but then introduce more woke stuff and kind of fail, especially when they buy outside properties, right? There's a reason this meme on screen exists and is so popular on social media. Netflix is pretty infamous for buying a property and then adapting it so badly and incorrectly that everyone hates it, which could happen with Mortal Kombat. I don't know, that could definitely happen. Or on the flip side, we could get a Netflix Castlevania situation. But alright everyone, that's about it for today's video. Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. This was definitely the worst year for Mortal Kombat, because pretty much everything went wrong. Mortal Kombat 1 got no support, even though developers said there would be more patches and balance updates. Then the Legacy Collection fell on its face with tons of bugs and the online not even working, right? The game was barely functioning. Then before that, the Mortal Kombat 2 movie got delayed until next year, the middle of next year, so a crazy gap there. Then for the final nail in the coffin, Netflix has bought Warner Brothers, which means they now own Mortal Kombat. So yeah, 2025 was a rough year for Mortal Kombat. But hey, at least today's video was fun. Thanks for watching, and I hope you enjoyed. If you did, please leave a like down below. Then for anyone new, finish that combo by subscribing and ringing that bell so you never miss any future content. Make sure to come back next time, and as always, stay underdogs.